Man, I don't know any of these people practically.
Yeah, you've seen the co-mains, two debutants.
That's insane. That's insane. We'll talk about that.
Good, looks like two good fighters, but still.
Um, Might as well start. Hello and welcome back to the MMA Split Pick Show, where we are going to be discussing the upcoming UFC Fight Night card, headlined by Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad. This is, of course, a rematch from an earlier fight where Luque won in the first round by knockout, but Belal Muhammad has made fantastic strides since then. I hope you enjoy that fight because it's pretty much the only name that any of us actually know on these cards. We've got two debutantes in the co-main event, and for once, Sly, we are probably at the same level as knowledge as you for a lot of these guys. So I'll be very
Nice.
curious to see
I
how the
feel like
picks
there's
go.
quite a few familiar faces in here. I think once we start getting into it, you'll be like,
There are.
actually,
When I wrote my picks, there are, but if you're a casual fan coming into this, it's they poured a lot of the star power and name value into UFC 273, as well they should. And with the Bellator card the night previous, that we will also be doing a picks show for in a separate video, we will of course be discussing that. And I think it's kind of right that Bellator does get a bit more of the glam this weekend. It's pretty much their biggest night of the year. We will of course be looking at the two main title fights there, but the UFC is what we're discussing in this video. As always, guys, hit a like if you're enjoying the channel. Pop your own picks down in the comments as well. If you do better than us in the picks, we'll give you a shout out. Let's get on to the main event. It's a rematch. Always interesting to see a rematch. We know how the first one went. It was very one-sided, but Belal Muhammad has very much credited his loss in that fight to kind of a turning point in his career where he really started sort of focusing on where his strengths are and fighting a bit more intelligently. And if you look at the results he's been able to pull since then, I mean, just the name value alone, obviously he had the no contest with Leon Edwards, which was unfortunate, but he's beaten Damian Maia. He's beaten Stephen Thompson, who are two of the mainstay, veterans of the division. Meanwhile, Vicente Luque has been taking out guys like Chiesa, Randy Brown, obviously the former champ Tyron Woodley. So there's future title aspirations on the cards here. I think, would you agree it's not a title eliminator, but the winner gets into that title eliminator conversation?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get close to it. Sorry, you go ahead, Sly.
No, but I don't know. I do go first, Josh. So you go first. So
I was going to say,
like cutting up.
We're hopefully going to get Colby against Chimaev. So that's the title eliminator, and then there are other kind of fights that could be made that are like kind of right up there as well. But I think it's really going to be how a timing sort of pans out. So, yeah, I think very realistically, this fight could get them to a title eliminator. I think depending on how other things kind of break in the division, potentially, potentially one or two more fights, one or two more wins. Unfortunately, for either guy, depends how active they want to be. I just think you've got Burns still there. Masvidal's still going to be a bit of a draw. Jesus, if a guy like Nate Diaz does come back and fight at 170 and get a win, you don't know. I think I'm rambling on too much about it. It's fucking right up there. I understand the point you're trying to make. This is a top of the tree kind of fight. These are two guys that do have very, very lively title aspirations. So Belal Muhammad's undefeated in 7, right?
It's pretty good.
I think something like that.
So. Something like that. It's in that region.
Luque's got a nice win streak. I think like 4 wins.
4 wins.
I think 3 you mentioned and
Nico Price, Randy Brown, Chiesa, and Tyron Woodley.
But none of these fights. I mean, what was the ranking of Tyron Woodley when you beat him?
It was still top 6. It was still top 6.
Okay.
But I mean, this was Tyron Woodley on the decline. There's no doubt about it. But if you remember, that was the one fight in his kind of losing streak at the end of his UFC career where Tyron Woodley did come out like an absolute bat out of hell and look pretty damn good. So what I would say is that both of these guys have kind of, if you're in the MO, if you're a hardcore fan, you know about them, you're excited about them. I don't think there's many casuals that are really kind of aware of these guys yet. They've both been sort of creeping under the radar, doing their thing, winning their fights. Obviously, Luque's super exciting. Like the guy's had some absolute bangers. If you look at things like the Mike Perry fight, the Barberena fight,
Tyron
the
Woodley fight.
Tyron Woodley fight, the Wonderboy Thompson fight, the Nico Price fight. The guy is so exciting. I'm actually amazed that he's not more of a star than he already is. He's just almost too much of a nice guy. He's just that super respectful, keeps his head down. Even when he tried to call out Usman, it was just in a hey man, we sort of were in the Ultimate Fighter a long time ago. I'd really like to test my skills against you kind of way. Belal Muhammad, his fight style is much more of a grind. So he is, we've talked about him a lot on the show, but he, in his entire personality, his entire mindset, is embracing the grinds, just outworking, out hustling guys and putting everything together, mixing the wrestling with the striking, switching between takedowns and overhands, staying in your face, staying busy. He's a bit more of a shit talker, man. And he's been the one that when he's had these fights, he's been calling these next guys out. He's been very vocal saying that he'd be the worst matchup for Chimaev. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I love the confidence. Obviously, though, what he's got to deal with is this was a guy who knocked him out in 1 round, less than a round last time. And the real question is, has Belal Muhammad improved enough to kind of close that gap? And has he improved more than Vicente Luque's improved in the last 4 fights? Because since Luque's lost to Wonderboy Thompson, he's looked like a much better fighter, although obviously it's different competition. So it's a really good matchup. I'm going to let you guys shoot first, but I'm leaning towards Luque at the moment.
Do you want to jump in slow?
I will let you go first if you don't mind. Unless you want me to, then I'll go first.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to be more restrained today. Honestly, what I love about Belal Muhammad is his kind of low risk strategy, which you can make work if you just like absolutely bust your ass and just grind, like you say. Luque has that ability to kind of nullify those low risk strategies because he's so dangerous in so many different ways. His stand up can put your lights out, and his submission game is super sneaky. I love Belal Muhammad. He is a top tier fighter. It's a bad matchup for him. It's not going to go as badly as the first fight did. It's going to be different. I just think Luque is going to have opportunities to finish the fight. 5-round fight. Belal Muhammad beats you by fighting all 5 rounds of a 5-round fight. I don't think he can get away. 25 minutes is too long to be in a Shark Tank with a guy like Luque. He's just going to finish him.
He's got knockout power, but he also throws in combination. He's not just winding up trying to put you out with one counter shot. He'll throw 3, 4, or 5, and any one of those shots can be the one that ends up hurting you and then sets the next shot up to rock you and damage you. So I don't see Belal wanting to stand with him, and I think Luque's going to know that he'll be a bit more takedown heavy, and that's going to open him up to Darce chokes, guillotines, and a whole lot of nastiness. So I think Luque, even if he gets taken down, is going to be very determined to make being on top of him an uncomfortable position for Belal. And my feeling is that there's not going to be a position that Belal is really going to be able to feel confident in and establish himself. Slide, please go ahead and chuck your thoughts into the ring on this one.
First, I'd show you my my food.
Oh wow!
I think it's a tricky one. This is a this is a 5-round fight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure.
Yeah.
It makes sense to think that Luque at some point is going to get a finish, a sub. He's going to get some punch is going to go through in 25 minutes time. Belal is so good defensively, but I just feel like Luque is going to get through at some point. But then again, I don't know. Gain can do it. If Gain has been able to hold opponents like that, just fuck it. I'll go Belal. I'll go Belal. I'll go Belal. I'll go Belal by decision.
I get others for your picks make no sense to me because these are the weeks I don't do well. Go on. Sorry, Matt. Where you
I
go?
was just gonna say Luque by knockout, but I will also very quickly slip in that we didn't actually during the recording of our podcast show confirm what the results were for the last pick show. So I will do that now. Josh took a victory on the UFC 273 pay-per-view card, only by one fight, but he did get it done. That means as we bring the scoreboards up now, Josh is in the lead with 3. Sly has got 1, and I'm still in last place with a big fat duck. Hopefully, I can turn it around this week. Josh, what is your pick for the main event fight?
I'm going Luque by sub.
Strong choice. Very possible. Very possible. And that brings us to the main reason that we're going to be watching this card.
What kind of sub?
Huh?
What kind of sub do you see him putting?
Honestly, I think I don't see him like pulling guard for a guillotine or anything, but I can see him kind of doing it in a scramble. I think guillotine or dust, those really kind of are his go-tos.
He's got a nice dust. Really nice.
You never know. It really depends on how the fight pans out. You know, if he's able to get his back, then it's obviously going to be a rear naked. You know, Luque's got more skill than like you realize because you haven't seen it all in the octagon. You know, he could fucking pull off like anything in a scramble, like a leg lock or something silly. You know, Belal Muhammad's just kind of got to mind his P's and Q's. It's too hard in 25 minutes.
It's a tough
I want to
fight.
see you pronounce these debutants in the co-main, Matt.
Oh man, so I've done no research on these guys, but I'm gonna go with Chao Boradio, and Gadzi Omagadziev. Gadzi Omagadziev. I've got that, and Chao Boradio.
Where did they come from? As in, what fighting discipline? Why are they here?
Well, I imagine they fight in MMA.
Through the Contender Series. Borralio won his first appearance on the Contender Series by decision. So Dana doesn't like that. Made him come back. Managed to get a first round knockout. And Omar Gadskiev didn't do that right. Also came through the Contender Series, first round submission, cheeky little knee bar. There's a little bit of hype behind these boys.
Great
it's
records.
Not super exciting. It's a confusing one to have on the co-main when there are some other like decent fights. I suppose having Zaleski dos Santos fall out of the Lasez fight, that would have been like the obvious co-main, I think. I don't know if they ever had it built there, but
I was going to ask you about that fight. I thought his opponent seemed a bit odd.
Yeah, I don't know when he pulled out, but I didn't really see anything pop up. It was just when I was checking Tapology against fight cards, it was different. I was like, shit. I was very excited for that fight. 2 guys that I'm actually like quite hyped on, but fuck it.
Certainly. Well, I'm going to flip my coin on this one and say Gadzi Omagadziev by submission.
Sly?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Gadzi Omagadziev by. What do you go, Matt? Submission. I'll go by.
I'm going submission.
KO.
I was only going to say submission. I could do the carpool bit. Would have been nice. I'm going sub.
I feel like there's a reason the UFC have put these guys in a co-main event, and it must be that they feel that there's real potential there that they're trying to sell. Because there's other fights that could have been in that spot. But sure. We'll see. Both exciting records. Obviously, one undefeated. I have no idea what to expect or who's going to win. So this is going to be very exciting for me. Moving down to Miguel Baeza, returning after... What was his last fight? Was it the Chaos Williams fight?
No, I think he's lost another... Oh, no, yeah. Sorry, that was after Ponzinibbio. Yeah, Williams was the last one.
That's knocked out in the 3rd round.
That's right. That's right. Taking on Andre Fiallo, who obviously fought Michel Pereira and lost, but certainly had his moments where he looks like, he had some ability there. We're big fans of Miguel Baeza. Obviously, he's had a couple of hiccups against tough guys, but the guy knows how to fight, throws nasty leg kicks, he's got power. Did he knock out Matt Brown?
Ooh, hang on, I can't think now. I think he probably did if I've blocked it out of my memory.
I think he did. I'm pretty sure it was a win by knockout. Let me double check because he had a great
Yeah,
2020.
Let me
yeah,
check. Let me check.
Yeah, knocked out Matt
too.
Brown. He beat Takashi
That's why I
Sato,
can't
and then
remember it.
2021 was a bit rough for him. But I think he's a really good
Just the
fighter. I
two
think he's
losses.
two back to
Yeah.
back. So obviously,
What do you think the pressure's on at all? Obviously, there's been a few cuts recently. Lost Kay Hansen, lost Chase Sherman.
did Kay
Cowboy.
Hansen
Not
get
recently.
cut?
Kay Hansen is cut. And Marlon Moraes officially retires.
I saw that.
I
I
think
saw
we all
that.
saw that coming though.
Yeah, it's not a great surprise, and I think it's definitely think it's the right decision for the guy. If you look at the damage he's taking.
Oh,
You know,
for sure. And that
if you
as well.
if you felt like he could adopt like a Jim Miller kind of role, it would be different. But if you're getting knocked out every time you fight, then it's not good. And I feel so sorry for Kay Hansen, but I think the thing with particularly the women's division, particularly in those kind of lower two weight classes, it used to be that they just needed the numbers, and so you could lose kind of 3 or 4, and they'd keep you round because you still have value to kind of fight the newcomers and make the numbers up.
Yeah.
But these divisions are getting stacked now, man. They're being a little bit more ruthless. The Hannah Cyphers, the Random Marcuses of this world. I don't think they're even, they're not looking for women to have 10-8, 10-6 kind of records.
Definitely not. Who was that? I think she fought under Perillo at Ruka. Caitlin something Caitlin. She lost 6 in a row before she got cut. That was a while ago.
Well, people,
I don't know
the
if Baez is under pressure here though.
Listen, there's pressure on himself because went from undefeated and winning and starting great in the UFC to coming a bit unstuck and against tough guys in very tough ways. So of course there's going to be pressure on. But if he watched Fialho's fight against Michel Pereira, I think he'll feel like he's got all the skill sets in his arsenal to be able to win this fight. I thought Fialho had his moments, but I thought he was very boxing heavy. He looks like he can be exposed to good movement. Bieza can move laterally very well. He will throw those leg kicks like there's no tomorrow. And, he's tall and long for the division as well. I think this is a very winnable fight for him. And if he does lose this fight, then it's pressure on, or you have to rebuild yourself on the regionals. I don't think it's going to come down to that. I think Bieza gets the win by knockout.
Yeah, I'm backing Caramel under the bounce back here as well. He does take chances, but overall he does fight quite smart. It's just sort of a lean and aggressive kind of style. Still, I can't go thinking it's going to be a knockout or anything like that. I'm going to go by as a decision.
Decision.
What's the
Knockout for
stats
me.
telling you?
Oh no, no. Baeza is too fast for Fialho in my mind, so I think he'll win by. Fuck, I'll go KO. KO.
Strong.
I think he knocks him out.
Nice.
A few leg kicks to slow him down, and then just knocks him out.
Nice, very strong peg. Taking us down to the women's bantamweight division, we've got a fun matchup. The return of Yanan Wu, who I think is moving up to bantamweight, and Maria Bueno Silva, who is definitely moving up to bantamweight. Are they moving up, or is it just that this is a short notice fight and they're not cutting the weight?
No, I think they are just moving up. Wu's taken fights at bantamweight before, but I can't really remember the circumstances. There's not much between these ladies. I think Wu probably will. She's a little taller. She might be able to make more use of that weight on the frame. I don't know. She's quite strong. I'm kind of treating it as quite an even match, though, despite the change in weight class. I'm not really too worried about it.
I've been back and forth on this fight, to be honest, because when I first looked at it, I thought, okay, Yanan Wu. But, Bueno Silva, she lost to Fiora, but it's a good fucking fight, man. She was game in that fight. She took some big shots and she kept coming forward. So I'm going Silva, man, by decision. Bounce back and forth on this one a few times, but I'm going Silva. There's a grappling threat. She's going to be forward pressuring. Yeah, why not? Let's try and get some
Yeah, she
separation from
finishes
Josh.
fights. Oh, you know, I've gone Bueno Silva by armbar.
Ah, fair enough.
By
Thought you were
arm
going to go
bars.
Woo.
I've
Yeah,
gone.
she finishes fights and she's got that
Mm.
sneaky armbar. Yeah, I just think that's the move.
So you're committed to armbar. No other method gets you the result correct.
Well, officially, I'm going sub. Okay. It's been a while since we came down to methods. I think that was
This is true.
before we started counting that. Even maybe can't remember. What are you saying, Sly?
Oh, I think Silva does a submission. I don't know if it's going to be an armbar or something else, but I don't think that Wuhan isn't that good at defending takedowns and stuff. So he goes to the floor. I think the Brazilian will use her jiu-jitsu and just smash her. Smash.
Nice. Moving down to Pat Sabatini taking on TJ Laramie. TJ Laramie, obviously another graduate of the Contender Series. A little bit mixed, hasn't quite gone as brilliantly since he's arrived in the UFC as it has for Pat Sabatini, who has looked like an absolute beast, really. Need more said. He's had some impressive wins. I'm actually surprised he's matched up with TJ Laramie. I don't think they're on even points in their career so far in terms of what they showed.
It's a good point. I did mean to look this up. I can't remember if this was the original booking.
This is the other one I wanted to ask you about because it seems strange.
It was supposed to be Quinn Tucker.
That makes a lot more
Laramie's
sense.
coming in
Short notice.
Yeah. I swear this stuff just hasn't even been popping up. Or I'm just getting ridiculously bad at reading news. Probably the latter. Anyway, fuck it. Yeah, is anyone taking Laramie in this one? No offense to the kid.
I honestly think he's the worst fighter that Sabatini's fought so far in the UFC. And I mean that with no disrespect, but if you look at like what Jamal Emmers can threaten, Tristan Connolly's a good fighter, you know, Tucker Lutz has got hands. This is a rough book, and I think they're doing this to give an excuse to cut TJ Laramie. I don't think they think he can deliver, and I think he's going to lose. He's going to be maybe given another shot because if he's taking it on short notice, but it's not going to do him any favors.
Ouch.
Yeah, okay, Sabatini by sub.
Trying to multitask.
Oh, I'll go Sabatini by sub.
I'm not fucking up again.
Sabatini by
sub. Yeah. I'm using the line. Well, we might as well carpool, fellas, because we're kind of the same way. Sabatini by sub.
No.
Don't complain.
That was easy.
I don't tell you not to bring food on the show. Let me have my little thing.
This is true.
Fine.
I smoke on camera. Sly eats food on camera. Josh just makes this carpool line.
I eat food everywhere. I have no
food is important. Food is important. You need it to live.
So yeah, we all talk about Sabatini.
Correct. And I think we're probably all going to be fairly aligned on this one because this is the return of Munir Lizez, who me and Josh in particularly fanboyed over like fucking crazy after we saw him on Fight Island. Maybe a little too much. Maybe we got kind of just a little bit caught up. We enjoyed those 15 minutes so much that we lost a little bit of perspective. Got so excited to see him back against Warley Alves. And Warley Alves just came out like a bat out of hell, body kicking him into oblivion. I don't think that's going to happen because he's facing Ange Busa, who, I mean, you're talking about Dana not liking people that don't finish their fights on Dana White Contender Series. This guy lost his fight on Dana White Contender Series, went back to, I think, ex-MMA, I can't remember what it was called when I looked it up, but regional promotion, and has clearly found himself back in when they need a short notice replacement. So really, what you need to get into the UFC depends entirely on situation. If you catch them at the right moment, it doesn't matter what the fucking record you have is. They'll take it when they need you.
Yeah, pretty much. Lizez against Dos Santos would have been fucking amazing. Warley Alves is still like a legit fight. He's pretty good. I haven't called on Lizez at all, really. Who knew he was going to spam the body kick like that? You know? It was just kind of almost disrespectful. He was just like, yeah, fuck it. These are going to land. I'm going to finish you. Happened just like that. Lizez by decision. Being conservative here.
I've gone Lizez's decision as well.
I'll go Lizez by KO then.
Right, moving on to the prelims and the fight that should have been the co-main event on this whole card. Devin Clark versus William Knight. This is fucking disgraceful that these guys are the 7th fight down. But that's neither here nor there. Devin Clark's coming off having his face rearranged, and William Knight's coming off missing weight and kind of scraping across to victory. I'll give my pick after you guys because I don't want to be going first the whole time, but William Knight's a big fucking guy, man. I don't know if Devin Clark can take this fight into where he
William
needs it
Knight
to be.
by KO. So you want me to go first? I'll go first. I mean, I wonder. I think everyone's just going to do the same thing. I mean, look at him; he's a beast. But
He's massive.
Devin Clark is a brown bear. Oh.
He's not. He's a Hugh man.
Well, his ring name is Brown Bear.
Well, he was a bloodied up brown bear in his last fight.
Mm.
He's got really good wrestling. It's just I don't see him taking William Knight down.
I don't know. I look at these two fighters, and only one of them really actually looks like a brown bear. It's not Devin Clark. I just can't see this going the distance though. Wait, Devin Clark is going to be a mess, man.
No, the only thing I'd say
Knight
is
written all over it.
I actually disagree because I think Knight can be very inactive, particularly if he's worried about the wrestling. He will sort of hold back, focus on sprawls and, establishing overhooks and just landing big when he can. So I'm feeling Knight, but I'm going by decision.
Wow. Okay.
And then onto the all Swedish fight.
Dina Landsberg taking on Panay Kinzad. Kinzad's last fight, the loss to Raquel Pennington. Yes. So
Penny is Iran.
But raised in Sweden and very much considers herself like a Swedish fighter. I don't know if she walks out with two flags as just the Swedish, but this to be honest could be quite a fun fight. I think.
I'm a big fan of.
I only see it going one way.
Dina Landsberg is 40 years old.
Yeah.
Fair play. Still getting it done at 40 years old. First fight in 2 years, where she lost to Sarah McMahon, who's also over 40 years old, still getting it done. Respect to these 40s women, keeping it going. I'm a big fan of Panay Kinzad. I thought that if she beat Pennington, she'd be going into that title contender kind of picture. I think she gets a bounce back win. I'll say by decision.
You want me to go next because you don't want to do the line again. So I'll go next. I see that in your eyes.
Thank you.
Just pure disappointment. Kianzad by decision. Exact same reason as Matt. I just think there's a huge gulf in class and age here. And not so much it won't be a fun fight, but it would just be a very clear, dominant 3-round decision.
Panay Kianzad by decision. Pretty much because I have no idea about these fighters, so you guys seem to have a clue and make sense. So yeah,
that's smart decision making right there. Drakkar Klose is back. The man who was denied his fight against Jeremy Stephens due to a push at weigh-ins is finally back to compete against Brandon Jenkins, and that makes about as much sense as it reads. I'm not even gonna. Is there anyone going for Brandon Jenkins here?
No, I mean, there's these little things where it's like Klose says he's not 100%. He almost retired off of that whiplash injury. There's just kind of like that little freak factor where it's like, is he gonna be able to physically last in a serious competition? However, he wouldn't fucking be here if he hadn't trained all the way through camp. I'm through the Bellator weigh-ins have happened today. I'm assuming he's gonna make weight. I haven't heard any rumblings, so shit, you gotta pick him, right?
Yeah, you got to. Sly, you can go first on this one.
Drakkar Klose by decision. Yeah, decision.
Decision. I don't think I said. Did I? Maybe. Pretty baked.
I'll go knockout
today.
I will go knockout on this one. So different methods for me, but we're all on the same track in terms of the pick. Moving down to Rafa Garcia taking on Jesse Ronson. Rafa Garcia, I think, is the protege of Cub Swanson, is he not?
Yeah, I believe this is the right Rafa. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mexican, but I think he used to commute and cross the border to train. Pretty sure he's relocated since, but yeah, this is Cubs guy, and he's fucking fun. I love watching this guy fight.
He had a rough road. He
You know,
lost his first two UFC fights, but he took the first
Yeah.
one on short notice against Hack Press and still performed really well. Had to fight the Groot Smasher, which is never easy, but bounced back against Nathan Levy. And everyone who trains with this guy says he's gonna, like, trust me, he's a couple of bumps along the way, but he's gonna be something. So I can't look past Rafa Garcia. I said by decision.
Look out for Jesse Ronson because he has a really cool tattoo on his left arm. Anyway, I'm gonna go for Rafa Garcia by submission.
I'm gonna go Rafa by decision. Just real quick, because I forgot to mention it when we were doing co-main. Cal Baralho has the most god awful tattoos on his Tapology picture.
I'm gonna look out for that.
I think, like, not just like poorly thought out tattoos, but like poorly executed tattoos. Like, who's the chick that did girls?
Oh, Lena Dunham.
Lena Dunham, right? Looks like he went this place she did. He's got one on his arm that just says "fight or die." I mean, I don't even know.
Oh wow! They look like they're written in crayon.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
mate, those are
appalling.
bad. The fight or die. The
Keep an eye
letters
out
aren't
for
even the
that.
same size.
Art is subjective, you know.
No, not this
No.
time.
There is such a thing as
objectively bad.
there is such a thing as technical ability in art.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that again subjective?
Again, this is the problem with fucking art, man. A few people threw some paint buckets on a blank canvas and called it art, and now everything's been fucking thrown out the window.
It's expression, all right? But he wasn't expressing anything. He just it's like a tattoo gun fell on his arm.
Also, if he now ever taps, at any point in his career,
Yeah.
sorry, mate. You know, the ref should almost let him go unconscious. He's just like, what the fuck? Sorry, I had the impression that you were here to fight or die. I wonder what gave me that thought.
Oh,
So why is it not win or die? Why is it fight or die?
Right, should we move on to the most important fight on the card?
Yeah. I got distracted.
I knew you'd be excited for this one.
Got distracted.
This should probably be the main event. Because it's Chris Barnett. And Chris Barnett's a fucking legend. Has he got knockout of the year, no? I don't know if he got it, but he should have got it.
I think he got celebration of the year.
Wow. Well, yeah. Get ready for something special.
Mate, I can't wait. I can't wait for his walkout. Is there a crowd for this one, or is it back at the Apex?
Oh, Apex.
Yeah. No.
You sure?
I think all three of them before the next UFC are Apex.
Yeah.
Check it.
It is the Apex. I think they have got a crowd, but like the small crowd, you know?
It's not quite the same. It's not quite the same.
It is not, no.
But you know what? Beastie Boy is still going to have a great time. He's still going to dance on his way out. He's still going to be the fastest man throwing spinning wheel kicks. And I don't know if he is going to win, but I fucking want him to win.
Well, is anyone picking Barnett?
Yeah, I'm picking Barnett by KO.
What a silly question. We're all picking Barnett, I hope. I mean, I
No,
hope you guys
he's
are
going to
not.
pick. He's seen contender series per day.
Also, okay, Barnett fun. Barnett's not bad, but Barnett is not tall enough to be an effective heavyweight. And the one guy he can start, let's be honest, is a light heavyweight. And also, as I once said, of Jean Valente, probably the only guy on a UFC contract that is getting overpaid. But he's like a real fucking heavyweight. He's 6'4". He's only got one loss, which was to Juan Espino. So maybe that Spanish-born thing's going to strike twice. I don't know. I think Bidet's going to get it. I'm going to go sub. I think he might be a favorite on this one as well. I can't remember. I did look at the betting line earlier in the week. I think he was the favorite then. Doesn't really mean much too early in the week, but I think Barnett's going to have a bad time.
Sly, did you say Barnett by KO as well?
Yes.
Let's move down to Jordan Levitt taking on newcomer Trey Ogden. Can't look past Jordan Levitt for me as we run through these last three a bit more quickly. I'm saying Levitt by sub.
Decision. Levitt decision.
Sly.
Wow. Levitt by sub.
Last two fights. Estela Nunes taking on Sam Hughes, who has had one of the most miserable times of any fighter I've ever seen in the UFC. It's not looked good for her at any point. I've never felt that she was in a fight or close to winning a fight or really just had anything going her way. I don't think that changes. I'm going Nunes by KO.
Nunes by decision.
Such a, I don't know, pick in the dark. Nunes by decision.
And then kicking off the night, another fight that probably should have been on the main card. Alatengali taking on always game Kevin Kroom. Great little fight to start things off, and my pick is for Alatengali by decision.
Same. Snap.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, the Mongolian Knight by decision.
Strong. So basically, we're like 90% all confirmed on the same picks, give like 2 or 3 fights. I mean, what we
I think
different.
It's Barnett, Bidet, and Slow went for Luke for Belal Muhammad. I think everything else is the same, isn't it?
Yeah,
A few methods are
a
different.
couple of methods different. So man, we're either all going to be very right or we're all going to be very wrong. But it's going to be decided by 2 or 3 fights. Or 1 or 2 fights, I should say, which is always very exciting. And that concludes our definitely the week following a massive pay-per-view lineup of UFC Fight Night, Luque versus Belal Muhammad 2. But we're still going to be watching it. We still hope that you enjoy it. That is the end of this video. Please, of course, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. However, do look out for the other video we'll be dropping today, which is our picks for the Bellator 2 title fights. Look out for you there. And guys, as always, enjoy the fight. By day, by Laurie, by Trifo.
Bye, Laurie. Bye, Dave.
Bye.